Okay, folks, turn 32. We've actually got two AIs now. So Zagarthrus and Prime are both out. Down here you can see Prime has mostly been swallowed. There's still a few provinces remaining. Prime's god has been killed. He went down, would be rude to say like a bitch? He went down like a bitch. He didn't even kill a single one of these Seir, unfortunately. Lemur consoles are really good for this kind of work, since they can cast Divine Blessing. But as you can see, with this blessing, these Seir, interestingly, the Seir don't really hit particularly hard, although in that case it's because he's been shrunk. But, they've just got a lot of regeneration, and then they've got the Berserk as well, which pushes their damage up by 4 when they go Berserk. And they just don't die. So, Representative Pretender here, he's throwing his flying shards, but it's really just making them Berserk, and then their damage goes up, and he can't regenerate, so even with 28 prot, he just doesn't make it. He just gets whittled down. And he doesn't even inflict any casualties. He's at 200 fatigue because the heat aura and chill aura combination, since he has no fire or cold resist, both of those are having full effect on his fatigue, and they've just fatigued him right the hell out instantaneously, which is also why he lit on fire so quickly. So the double aura build, actually the scariest part of this build. Like, these guys are not built to do damage by punching you in the way Seir typically do. They're built to, they have magic weapons so they can fight ethereal units, and then they're built to stand around not dying for a very long time while their heat and chill aura wipe out whoever it is they're fighting, and then they can punch them while they're, like, very weak. So, in any case, that was done. But, more importantly, up here, we've got our Siege of Amphalia. Our vampires hit old land and wiped out the province defense, despite it being very heavy, actually. This is very heavy province defense. This is like 20 points of province defense or more. Very heavy. But it was not enough against the power of 4 Immortal Diabolists spamming skeletons. So they just crapped out about 60 skeletons, another 20 there, and their skeletons just went in and fought, and the skeletons are very bad at beating these units. These units are all individually better than skeletons, but they are pretty good at routing them. And then these guys came up with their javelins and got some skeletons cast at them and started to run away. And yeah, it all went pretty well. The Order of the Divine Flame turned and ran from the terrifying Skelly men, and the vampires were victorious. So, took that place very easily. Unfortunately, we lost a Magus to a Dryad, and the crossbowmen didn't accomplish what I was hoping they would. They didn't get a hit in the first round, which is what they needed to do. Because immediately afterwards, the Dryad started casting Swarm, and then, you know, it just didn't work out. So the Magus managed to get some buffs on himself, but not a prop buff, and while he was fate-twisted and lucky, he still was just bitten to death by insects. So that was that. We also tried to assassinate a Daduko, and the Dadukos are actually very resistant to assassination because they can cast Iron Skin on themselves. And casting Iron Skin makes it hard to stab them with knives, especially poison daggers do relatively little damage. If you can successfully stab them, the poison will still kill them, so there is a chance for a Stalker to beat a Dadukos. It's just not a hugely good chance. So, you know, that was okay. Beyond that, we got 600 gold in Dragon Ridge, and we got an Abbey in Vepitre, which is kind of hilarious. So now, instead of having to recruit abbesses in order to build temples and be disease healers, we can recruit sisters to do that job. They're not priests, but they are sacred, so they can build temples. They're stealthy, they're disease healers, and they're only 1 recruitment point and 75 gold. So that's very nice. That ability is really handy. In fact, I may recruit a few sisters just for that reason. And of course, as I said, they're stealthy, so they can sneak around, which is pretty neat. So we're going to churn out a couple of sisters here in Vepitre, just to keep my old men from getting, like, diseases and such, or for healing them when they do get them, which will probably happen at some point. Bloodslave income, pretty good. We're casting Rites of Immortality, and we're empowering Dirk so that we can potentially move to summoning 2 vampires per turn. These vampires are going to hop over here to Hoburgdorf. Interesting fact about seduction, as opposed to assassinations. Seduction only happens if there's a place where the seduced mage can go, meaning an adjacent province that you control. If I, as the target of the seduction, control all of the adjacent provinces, or rather, if there's no friendly province adjacent to the place where the seducer is trying to seduce from, the seduction attempt automatically fails, and I believe it doesn't trigger an assassination battle. So that's one way to avoid being murdered by dryads. If you just if you take all of the provinces surrounding the place where you're worried about being seduced in, the dryads will automatically not launch seduction attempts, which is pretty fucking sweet. Now, perfectly normal human wizard is going to, I need to script him actually, which I forgot to do. We'll script him to Horde of Skeletons, and these guys will hold in fire, and they'll be down there with the rest of them. So, we've got perfectly normal human wizard zipping on over there with his 9 sacreds in order to boost up my Demons of Heavenly Fires that I have here already. And yeah, this will be fine. We've got our crossbowmen spread around. Everyone's still sieging even though the fort is cracked because we want to get more troops in. We've also got Sanetomo and Minoru moving out. Minoru doesn't have any gear. I'm going to give him this black steel plate crest, I guess. That doesn't actually help him at all, does it? No. It does not. So never mind. So Minoru and Sanetomo are both moving out. Sanetomo is leading quite an army. We've got 63 Saoi. We've got a few chariots, and then we've got about 30 Burgmeister Guard. So definitely an increase in the old chaff production there. I've got 9 recruitment points here, so I'm going to recruit a Bone Tribe Beast Hunter as well. Churning out the crossbows here, as well as some stalkers. I'd like to get some mages, but I want some stalkers more. Up here, we're recruiting 2 base commanders, which I don't think I need at this point. I think that's enough. So we're going to start recruiting Warrior Magi up there, just so that I can have some of them. I need some more better randoms. Oh, we still got Zambarth over here with this sort of sharpness, which isn't, like, useful, but at some point I'll give him, like, a Frost Brand or something. In fact, I could theoretically forge him a Frost Brand right now, couldn't I? Because I have a water random dude somewhere. Ophagian, he's moving up to Terram. That's fine. We've also got, in the old magic item treasury chest, we've got a Dwarven Hammer, we've got this pair of Dusk Daggers, and we've got an Amulet of Breathing. So Dusk Daggers would be great to give to Assassins, but we'd also need, like, fast shoes so that they can run in and stab a mage before they cast, which is the ideal case. But in any case, we're just moving guys around right now, closing in on Amphalia. Next turn, I think we'll be able to storm Amphalia, unless something terrible happens. And yeah, should be pretty good. We're going to take Hoburgdorf, and that will be about it. In terms of research, we're running down Thaumaturgy. Once we've hit Thaumaturgy level 6, Thaumaturgy level 6 will give us Enslaved Mind, and will also give us Wither Bones. Those are the 2 big ones there. And then we will grab Construction, and we may go down Evocation a little bit further as well, because Magma Eruption, Mind Hunt, Rain of Stones, potentially. Rain of Stones is something that I could potentially cast because, if I recall correctly, yes, you do get an air random on Adepts of the Iron Order. So Rain of Stones is a great spell to have the ability to cast. We've got Pud here with Astral 3, Earth 3, which is pretty neat. We can give him, of course, the Staff of Elemental Mastery, which would make him Earth 4. And with Earth 4, he can cast all sorts of cool things. We're almost to the point where we could cast Riches from Beneath, which would be pretty freaking sweet. And we actually do have access to Eternal Pyre, but we have to wait for our god to wake up before we can cast Eternal Pyre. Now, casting Eternal Pyre would be super, super high value for me, because all those fire gems I can immediately convert into Demons of Heavenly Fires. Right now, there are actually no globals up. Nobody has cast a single global. I would have expected Mother Oak at least by this time, but in any case. So I am going to start swapping for fire gems. I will sell water gems, astral pearls, nature. I'll sell a lot for fire gems, because as soon as my god wakes up, I want to, if at all possible, try and just forge I think I'll have to forge... well, he can't hold the staff because he doesn't have hands. Damn it. I'm trying to remember exactly how much fire I gave him. I'm pretty sure he has enough, because he has fire resistance and attack skill. I think he has enough to just cast Eternal Pyre off the bat. But yeah, I'll absolutely swap and or alchemize gems in order to cast Eternal Pyre as quickly as possible. And that will give me the fire income that I need to just churn out Demons of Heavenly Fires in job lots, as well as like cast fire spells in combat and summon flame spirits and all kinds of good shit. So that will be neato keen. My fire gem income, I wish it had been higher. But yeah, I'm going to start stockpiling those for now, and we'll do some diplomacy, see if we can get some more. Blood hunting going well. We're getting good blood gem income out of the Weald, moving these guys back there in order to pick it up. Good blood gem income out of Halemire, good income out of Wellrid, and good income out of Dragon Ridge. Excellent income out of Dragon Ridge, actually. So all is going well. Well and according to plan. I don't know why I have him taking 2... Oh yeah, because Gabrusis is also moving over there. So we're moving out more Blood Hunters. I'm still forging a few Sanguine Dowsing Rods every round, expanding our operations slowly. And we've got Durnan. Durnan can actually move right up there to Esquania, I think, and start hunting there. Or we could start hunting in Setica, because nobody can actually attack Setica directly without coming through Edirol, since we have Heat Dominion. He could forge items to let thugs raid Setica, which would be sad, but Esquania has a lot of income that I don't necessarily want to give up. So, yeah, let's get Durman to... Well, let's just send him up here for this turn. Yeah, we'll send him over to Setica. We'll start blood hunting there. I will need some chaff in order to patrol there. We'll keep recruiting the South, but we'll stop. Crossbows actually can upkeep cost of 8, upkeep cost of 7. It's barely a difference. And I am resource capped here, so yeah, we'll just do the crossbows, and we'll patrol with crossbows or whatever, some kind of summon maybe. In any case, that is turn 32. Doing well. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We'll see if we can take this from Demise, having killed off so many of his polemarchs in that one battle. I'm feeling pretty good about it. His gladiators, they do damage, but I don't think they can successfully fight their way through my armies if I get even a little bit of support. And oh boy, I know I said I need to stockpile fire gems. Eesh. I'd really like to have some fire gems for this battle, though. Let's give you some earth gems and some astral pearls, maybe? Is there any spell that I want to cast that actually requires astral pearls? Strength of Giants, we're summoning earth elementals there. We're spamming out starfires. Because, see, yeah, like, the spells that I want to cast require... Well, we've got Magic Duel. I could Magic Duel his Dadukos right off the bat. Heat from Hell. Heat from Hell could potentially be a good one. Anti-Magic, definitely good. Yeah, I don't really have much that I want. I'll send some gems. Having some gems is good. But realistically, if I was worried about a big army of like gladiators, then the tactic here would be spam out some kind of mass prot buff or something and cast Earthquake a few times to try and wipe out the gladiators, because they have low prot. And because gladiators leave as soon as they take damage, any gladiator that's hit by the Earthquake, even if they live, will still disappear. So if you can raid an army of gladiators with an Earthquake caster, with like a Ring of Returning or something, I think you can knock out a ton of them for very, very cheap, which is sort of hilarious. So, yeah, also, the fact that this is independent indicates that Demise's expansion probably wasn't great, and of course he's also blocked off there. I don't know how far he's gotten over here, because I don't have any scouts in that area, but hopefully it wasn't too far, and we should be able to accomplish something here. Also, Amphalia is a super fucking rich province. I'm absolutely glad that I did this, because this province is, ooh baby, this province is some money. Alright. Anyway, that's the turn. I'll see y'all in turn 33. Okay, folks, it's turn 33, and the first thing you might notice is that my fire gems have just spiked, and that's because we just received 20 fire gems from the Blood Boys. We are engaging in some very heavy trading in pursuit of our goal to cast Eternal Pyre as quickly as possible once our god wakes up. So if we look at messages, we're sending 20 pearls to the Blood Boys to pay for those 20 fire gems. We're also swapping 15 nature to Kalkheim for 15 fire gems, and 25 air to Illwinter for 25 fire gems. So all told, we've got 60 fire gems coming in this turn, which will be enough to push us over the requirement for Eternal Pyre. And then Eternal Pyre, once we get that, all we need is a Fire 6 Mage, which, if I recall correctly, I haven't actually double-checked because I'm not that organized about this whole thing. But I think if I recall correctly, my god is a Fire 6. I think he's a fire 6. Oh no, wait. Wait a second. I get bonus fire bless points as... Fuck. I get bonus fire bless points, that's right. That's a really good thing, but it's also kind of shitty, because I think actually he's only fire 4. So, I will need a Skull of Fire and an Empowerment in order to cast Eternal Pyre. Not the end of the world, I can definitely do that. Slightly aggravating, but not terrible, terrible, terrible. Yeah. Or I can summon the King of Banefires, because the King of Banefires has fire 4 or 5, and he can forge. Yeah, it's gonna take a few more gems than I had anticipated. I might actually straight up empower a Magus in Death in order to forge a Skull of Fire or something. Leash. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna swing that. Okay, in any case, we'll swing it. We're gathering up a ton of fire gems. I'm really hoping that I can, by hook or by crook, some kind of way, cast Eternal Pyre before turn 40. That would be really, really valuable, because it would instantaneously, like, double my total gem income. My gem income, which is not amazing. My Bloodslave income is pretty good. My gem income, not amazing. I mean, we've got 8, 11, 14, 21 gems per turn on turn 33. It's like, you can't see my black line hardly, but meh. Could be better. I do have several guys casting Arcane Probing, which I think will be very, very useful. My research is actually dipping a little bit. I will hit Thaumaturgy 4 next turn, and I will start remote site searching for Earth Gems as well at that point. I can't actually remote search for Fire Gems except with George Washington. George Washington is over here in Amphalia storming this castle. So the army is storming. Munetaka is leading our troops valiantly to battle. And absent terrible luck, we should be fine with him leading the whole army. This is kind of a gamble. When you know you're facing assassins, it's kind of a gamble to stack all of your dudes on one leader. But basically, I'm just gambling that Munetaka will not be targeted. And if Munetaka is targeted, then, I mean, fuck me, I guess. But if not, then the whole army should get there. And if Alucard is targeted, then okay, Alucard is one of the few who will actually survive a swarm assassination, because he is invulnerable and poison resistant and can Skeleспam because he's a Death 2 mage. So eventually, as I replace more and more of my commanders with Immortal Diabolists, I will actually become less and less vulnerable to swarm assassinations, purely because Immortal Diabolists are one of the few kinds of units who are naturally just basically immune to that. I'm recruiting more sisters here for the stealth and the disease healing, so we're pumping out a whole bunch of them. We can also use them to bring Blood Slaves back, so that's fine. Blood Boys have mono-dropped their monolith, Scales Mictlan's best Mictlan, onto Rim Mountains, so he must have woken up. Well, actually, I think he might have been awake. Or at most dormant. So he's dropped on there. He's a monolith. He's extremely tough, so we can see how that works here. They teleported him in, and he, right off the bat, he has their bless. So he's pierce and slash resistant, fire resistant, cold resistant, very poison resistant, tons of magic paths. He has 36 protection, 222 hit points. Reinvigoration, and of course is an innate caster, and is inanimate. He's susceptible to shock, so lightning is his worst enemy, but beyond that, he's just fine. And he casts a bunch of buffs on himself, including Elemental Fortitude, which takes away the shock vulnerability, and raises his fire and cold resistance up to pretty high levels. And he has Prot 39 now. So at this point, in order to actually kill this guy, you have to use armor-negating weapons, basically. Or you have to have armor-piercing weapons that hit super, super hard. So it would take, dedicated anti-monolith thugs to kill him. Or you could also kill him by spamming Gifts from Heaven a lot and getting lucky. Because Gifts from Heaven, even past his 39 prot, would still be doing about 120 damage a hit. So it would only take 2 or 3 meteors landing on him to kill him. It's just the Gifts from Heaven is so inaccurate that trying to drop it on somebody who only takes up 1 square is very unlikely to work. And of course, he has the Chill Aura. He doesn't seem to have the Heat Aura, funnily. I thought he had a double Aura Bless. He might actually not have his Bless. Is this not his Dominion? In any case, all these troops just come in and get slaughtered. Like, they can't do anything to this guy the defenders of this province are just sages and lore masters, and they actually rout before they get close enough to do anything. I think they might have been... They're not... Oh, no, that's... Yeah, they are routing. I think they might have been scripted, planning to run up and start casting Arcane Bolt at him, which does... Or something. Something that does damage, or like Shatter. I don't know what. In any case, they don't accomplish anything, and he just blasts everyone to death there. So that's fine. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually in his Dominion. That might still be in Prime's Dominion. But regardless of whether it is or not, he's got his Flegrin Priest and Itzab. He's got his blood economy rolling. My blood economy is doing pretty well. We're up to about, like, a reliable about 60-70 slaves per turn. We're actually casting Rites of Immortality twice this turn. And we've got another vampire who I have not renamed yet. We're going to rename him... Oh, what shall we call him? Because we've got... what do we have over here? We've got Alucard and Perfectly Normal Human Wizard. We've got these four all over there. This guy will be... very healthy living sorcerer. There we go. And he will be scripted to... Where's my... There it is. There's my Hordes of Skeleton script. So he'll be scripted to spam Hordes of Skeletons. And we will fly him over there, so he can be ready to raid. We're raiding these two provinces this turn with our vampires, leaving Hoburgdorf with 3 province defense. This is not, in fact, a Hoburg province. I call shenanigans. This is untruth in advertising. And we are... yeah, we're storming Amphalia. So my army's all set up. We've got a communion. We're communioning in George Washington to cast Divine Blessing and then Fanaticism. Whole bunch of communion slaves, just in case I lose one of them. Strength of Giants, we've got Shaggy spamming Ashes to Ashes, which won't actually make a difference, so just, like, cast spells, I guess. Actually, he's the Prophet. You can Divine Blessing. You just cast Divine Blessing, and then you up here, you can actually drop the Divine Blessing, cast Fanaticism, and then... Mindburn or Strange Fire. I think Mindburn will actually be more valuable, because the only thing that's really going to stop me will be the Polar Marks. We have to have solutions to the Polar Marks. We've got these guys. They can hold and fire large monsters. That will be workable for them. We've got our Long Dead Horsemen up front, which are on hold and attack. We'll be dropping Strength of Giants on them. We're summoning some Earth Elementals out of our Communion, and dropping Power of the Spheres anti-magic. We've got a few Burgmeister Guard, and a relatively large chunk of crossbows, plus our 28 Demons of Heavenly Fires. And I think we've got an excellent shot at storming this fort, taking Amphalia, and raiding away so many provinces that he can't effectively resist me as more and more troops roll in. We've got our 63 Sacreds, another 30 Burgmeister Guard coming in here. We're still recruiting crossbows out of this province, albeit not many, because our money is being drained. So we're going to have to shift like that so that we can get some more crossbows this turn. Thank you. My income is very low, and I would like it to be higher. Minoru. Minoru can go up there to collect crossbows. And yeah, I think we'll be fine. We're not recruiting mages everywhere, if I recall correctly, anymore. Got mages there. Yeah, we're not recruiting anything up here in Terram. That's fine for now. That is A-okay for the nonce. What we are going to do is we're going to get... yeah, we're going to leave Isquania alone. We're going to start blood hunting. Actually, let's start blood hunting Setica. So you two grab Sanguine Dowsing Rods and head for Setica. Excellent. Okay, so that's the turn. Fairly simple. I think we're doing well. Research still rushing down Thaumaturgy. And we should be, as I said, hopefully within the next few turns we'll be in a position to, by hook or by crook, some kind of way cast Eternal Pyre, kick my Fire Gem income up to 24 per turn, and start actually like mass-producing Demons of Heavenly Fires, because Demons of Heavenly Fires, if you'll recall, cost 6. So if my income is 24, then I can afford to churn out 12 of these bad boys a turn forever, and Ujigamis and such to lead them. So that would be pretty sweet. Being able to cast Riches from Beneath would also be pretty sweet, but I'm not too worried about that. So in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in turn 34. Okay, folks, it's turn 34, and in Amphalia, it looks like Demise sallied out against me. So, let's see what he had. So, he's built up this pretty significant army. He's got a total of 4 polemarchs, his large Dadukos Communion with various bodyguards scattered around near them. He's got 1 Dryad in the back, and then a bunch of summons, a bunch of Scorpion Beasts, a bunch of Fire Drakes, a Frost Drake, some random assorted infantry, and a large line of Gladiators, plus a few Colossi Light Infantry out front. In my army, I have a line of Long Dead Horsemen with a few Burgmeister Guard out front, a thick double line of Crossbows, with an Ujigami among them, a few my Magi Communion scattered across the back, an Adept of the Iron Order, and my chunk of Demons of Heavenly Fires. Plus, I have my Prophet, Shaigi. So, the battle begins. Everyone starts casting their basic buff spells. The crossbows begin to fire. Doing okay damage. He starts summoning air elementals and then starts spamming gifts from heaven, as he did last time. My demons are buffed up with the Bless, and there goes the Strength of Giants, so my demons are now hitting with their absolutely one-digit strength. They don't have heat as high here, so it's slightly down. The gifts from heaven start dropping and doing a lot of damage, but with my crossbows and my demons of heavenly fires going, I'm doing alright. The sulfur cloud up here, dropping on my troops, my skeleton horse, my long dead horsemen charge in. I almost said skeleton horsemen. My long dead horsemen charge in, start doing their work. More and more meteors dropping on me, but honestly, it's attrition that I can live through. The enemy prophet, the purifier, is charging, and up here we've got a couple of other polemarchs doing battle with a giant scorpion, it looks like. My mages have resorted to throwing magma bolts into combat, which I think is a weird choice, but it is a choice. And the fire drakes here are absolutely burning through the chaff on both sides. They've already blasted through all of my long dead horsemen. They're getting a lot of friendly fire as well, but the demons of heavenly fires continue their barrage. They're doing quite a bit of damage, actually. As, of course, are the crossbows. The crossbows are also doing pretty important damage. The Purifier is charging in alone. He gets right up to my lines, takes a couple of really good shots from the Demons of Heavenly Fires. Because, like, as I've said, even with 5 fire resistance and 30 prot, it is not enough to save him. So he's almost dead. More gifts from heaven dropping on us. We've got a whole bunch of earth elementals kind of waiting in the wings back here. And a couple of vampires who summon some skeletons who are going forward and kind of mucking things up. The fire drakes are mostly dead. They caused a lot of damage. They did a decent job, but they're pretty much gone now. And the Purifier is dead, and the enemy forces are more or less routed. That Polemarch Antiphos is running. Electos is routed. At this point, it's all over but the Cryon, pretty much. My crossbows rout off the field as well, but my Demons of Heavenly Fires clean things up. They do unfortunately set one of my Magi on fire, which is a big shame. I had a bunch of my units retreat, but the Demons of Heavenly Fires and Earth Elementals finish off the enemy. They kill Nariones the Polemarch, and clean up the remainder of Demise's troops, including a few Dadukos. So, overall, in Amphalia, he sent out about 169 units, of which he lost 67. He lost 5 Dadukos, his Dryad, 2 Polemarchs, including his Prophet, and a Commander, and then a whole bunch of summons, mainly. He lost all of his Gladiators actually are gone, I think. He lost his Ice Drake, he lost most of his Fire Drakes, he lost most of his troops, but he kept a significant number of Gladiators that would have then disappeared after the battle. So, overall, I think pretty much this whole army is gone. He did keep 10 Dadukos. On my side, we lost comparable numbers of mages. I lost an Adept of the Iron Order, which is painful. I lost one of my vampires, who will come right back, of course. And then I lost 5 out of my 13 Magi. In terms of troops, I actually lost larger numbers than he did. I lost 54 of my 85 crossbowmen, all of my Burgmeister Guards and Beast Hunters, 17 of my Demons of Heavenly Fires, and all of my Long Dead Horsemen. But my troops were not as expensive as his. My Demons of Heavenly Fires are 2 gems each, whereas his Drakes are like, if I recall correctly, 6 or 7. So that's a trade that I'm perfectly happy with. 8 Drakes for 17 Demons of Heavenly Fires. Plus I killed off a couple of his Polemarchs, which are expensive. Overall, I definitely came out on top there, and then, of course, we attacked the Fortress of Amphalia. I lost a couple more mages there, just from fire from the area archers, because I had almost no troops left, but we stormed the place very successfully. So, we have taken Amphalia. Now, a large number of his troops have retreated here to Old Land, so he's got a pretty significant army built up in Old Land. I, however, have got a pretty significant army coming in right now. 63 of my Sawoi, and a lot more mages. So I'm replacing pretty much all of my losses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 magi. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 magi already there, plus George Washington, and I'm recruiting another one, plus some Bone Tribe Beast Hunters just to serve as chaff. So overall, I should end up with about the same size mage corps I just had. My vampires here took a couple of enemy provinces, and Amphalia has a lot of income, so that was a very valuable province to take and hold. We'll be moving on to Old Land pretty soon here. I'm contemplating attacking Old Land right now, because what I could do is I can concentrate all of my vampires. So I can get 6 vampires in there, spamming Horde of Skeletons. And then on top of that, I can move in all of my armies. Now, if he launches an attack out of this province, it may not work, but I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to go ahead and freaking do it. So, looking at my forces here, we've got my Sacreds up front. I'm actually going to put my Vampires all out front of them, so that when they start spamming Skeletons, those Skeletons will be the first ones to go in and the first ones to die. So we've got that, and like that. All along the front. We've got my summoned Sacreds down here. We're going to spread out my mages so that the gifts from heaven don't cause quite as much damage as they were causing. We're going to get Sanatomo up there. Sanatomo, since I lost my prophet, is going to be the one to cast I'm losing my mind, as well as my prophet. He's going to be the one to cast Divine Blessing, which I will definitely need. I will also need, so you're casting Communion Master Fanaticism, that's fine. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Communion Slaves scripted, which is great. Your Communion Master Summon Earth Power. You need to be Communion Master before you throw Strange Fire. Come down here and drop Strength of Giants. Where'd Strength of Giants go? There's Strength of Giants. Drop Strength of Giants twice, and then you can start throwing Falling Fires, maybe? No, Strange Fire. Throw Strange Fire. So we've got that. We've got the Horde of Skeletons going out. We've got you, Personal Luck, Strange Fire. Power of the Spheres, Strange Fire. So my fatigue will be quite low, which is good. And I think between all of this, plus with the Divine Blessing, these guys are going to be going up 4 strength, so they'll be hitting for 19. I do, however, want... I don't need Earth Elementals from you. What I need from you is, I need Legions of Steel. A couple times. And then I'll need one who's dropping Strength of Giants as well. So you're summoning Earth Power, that's fine. So you be up there, and you can be right there. And you can cast Strength of Giants a couple of times, because I need to boost up my dudes there as much as physically possible. Enchantment, Strength of Giants. And then we can get... Actually, let's get some gifts from heaven of our own going after that. So Strength of Giants twice, and then gifts from heaven. You're summoning Earth Elementals, which is not necessary, so you can throw some gifts from heaven yourself. And you're dropping Legions of Steel, and then, you guessed it, that's right, gifts from heaven. So, that should be fine. So we're going to roll in there, roll in heavy against Old Land. Demise has said he's going AI this turn, but he said that before in other games and hasn't actually done it, so I don't necessarily believe that. But also, the Spirit of 76 has appeared, and as I went and double-checked immediately after recording that video because I'm dumb. He's Fire 5. So all I need is a Skull of Fire, and the Spirit of 76 can cast Eternal Pyre. So what I've done is I've alchemized a whole bunch of gems. This is kind of wasteful, but it's worth it, in order to empower Ilvitus in Death. So when he's empowered in Death, I have to research Construction 6. He'll then be able to forge a Skull of Fire, and I will then use that Skull of Fire in order for the Spirit of 76 to boost himself up to Fire 6 and cast Eternal Pyre. Now that will take a little while. I'm at Thaumaturgy 4 right now. I want to get Thaumaturgy 5. Thaumaturgy 6 I can probably do without, so we're going to go up to Construction level 6, and we need to focus some research. Up here, I'm recruiting assassins, which I don't necessarily need. I'm going to start recruiting conjurers. And I'm recruiting a magus over there, of course. Down here, we're going to swap from that to double magi. And down here, yeah, we can keep recruiting stalkers. And some Saoi as well. So, the point there will be to ratchet up my research as quickly as possible. And like I said, I think I'll be able to cast it before turn 40, which would be absolutely radical. Nobody else actually has any globals up, so that's sort of hilarious. But I definitely will have enough fire gems to do it. And in fact, I have enough fire gems that I can afford to deploy some fire gems to support my armies. Now, with the Bless, my Saoi will be fire resistance 10, so fire elementals won't really bother them, which means I can give George Washington here some fire gems in order to cast, yes, fanaticism, and then fire elementals, since he's in the communion. So he'll be up here, and he will drop fire elementals. We've also got these guys will be up on that side, and I don't think anybody else really needs to be summoning fire elementals. Doing earth power, gifts from heaven, that's fine. Divine blessing from Sanatomo. He needs to wait 1 round for the communion to activate before he can use the crystal matrix. That'll be good. And of course, he's giving his huge morale bonus to everyone. So these guys have morale 17 even before they go berserk, at which point their morale becomes pretty much unlimited. And if we can layer Strength of Giants and Legions of Steel on them, they'll go up to pretty high prot. And of course, actually, I don't think I necessarily need Legions of Steel, because like they're going to die anyway. Because the thing that was doing most of the killing in that battle, well, it was Fire Drakes for one thing, but Fire Drakes are completely stopped by my Fire Resistance Bless. But then beyond that, it was Gifts from Heaven. Like, Gifts from Heaven was doing most of the damage. And on my side, of course, it was the Demons of Heavenly Fires. Those guys are so good. They just hit so hard. That's the reason they're so powerful, is they just hit like trucks. But yeah, I think we'll, I think this will be fine. You guys can hold and fire at large enemy monsters. Okay, and so yeah, once the Divine Blessing goes down, these guys are going to berserk and they're just going to charge. So they'll be going in hardcore. Yeah, I think that'll be the plan. And then these guys are going to sneak on in, do some assassinating if necessary, and everyone and our 6 vampires will coagulate on old land. I think this will be fine. If he moves everything he's got, if he sends all his polemarchs marks over here, he might be able to stop me, but I think he'd take heavy casualties at least, and I should be able to roll up more troops in time to stop him after that. Blood hunting, going perfectly well. I don't need this guy here. He can move down. I don't have much by way of gold. Yeah, let's keep up with the adepts of the Iron Order, and let's get some more burgers going on. What troops do I have over here? Lots of militia and crossbows. Okay, so Count Orlok II is gonna hop on up here to grab some troops. I don't have anyone who could really lead troops here, except for researching the... Oh, no, I tell a lie, I've got Esnan. Esnan can move up there to concentrate those troops. Vano can move over there and grab these troops that are over in this province, start concentrating them. We've got lots and lots of militia scattered around, guarding the blood hunts. How many did I get out of Wilford? I got 23 out of Wilford this turn, so definitely still worth it. And Ophagion should go over there and site search for air and water. We also got 3 guys casting Arcane Probing. I might swap them back to research in a turn or two here. But they're just spamming Arcane Probing to try and find astral sites, because I would like to have more astral income. I would like to have more gem income in general. But I think this will work. I think this will be fine. The vampire spamming skeletons should pretty much disrupt his attack plans, except for dropping meteors on me, and give my troops time to get their bless off and go berserk and charge in and start laying waste. So, that will be the plan. Now, in Amphalia, we tried to assassinate the Dukos again and failed again. Like, Stalkers are just, they're kind of low efficiency against Earth Mages. But we'll be fine. We're summoning 1 more vampire this turn. This guy I need to rename. We've got Count Orlok II, but this guy needs to be renamed something else. We'll just rename him, we'll just rename him Joe Blow, the Average Man. There we go. Good old Joe Blow. And Joe Blow is going to hop on over here. Actually, can he hit that province in one turn? He cannot. Damn. The Joe Blow will skittle on over here. And yeah, should be good. So that's turn 34. I'll see you all in turn 35.